Hello, it's Druidsfire with my GenCon 2026 recap. Starting with I survived the tornado. All right, we'll get into that in a minute. But I had to write down all of the stuff that happened because I knew that if I didn't, I would forget everything. So basically, let's talk about Gen Con. It ran for me from Wednesday to Sunday. I had to go over on Wednesday for training. I was contracted to work for a company called Merchant Guild, and we were contracted to work for Asmodee in doing demos and other stuff for their booths. Their booths, plural, because Asmodee is something of a big deal. Full disclosure: my sister works for Asmodee as the community director for Catan. So I think that probably had something to do with the fact that I got to stay at the JW and did not have to deal with any of the buses to the airport hotels like everybody else. And I'm extremely grateful for that consideration. And also probably why I was put on the Catan team. The Catan demo team, that is. So travel to Gen Con was a little bit of a nightmare because there was traffic on I-74 westbound in a town called Rushville, Indiana. One side said, this exit's closed, go to the next exit, and da-da-da-da. Except the next exit was also closed due to an accident. So... that stretch of road normally would have taken me about 5 minutes to get through. It was closer to 45 minutes because we were inching along. So check-in at the J-Dub was okay. There was a little bit of a snafu with something that was out of my power, but I was able to call the person that I needed to talk to, and they got things sorted out. This year's Merchant Guild team, the company has changed names a couple times, whatever. And it's like I saw some of the same people that I've seen for the past couple of years. So it's like some of the same. It's like, hey. But I would like to point out, every time I go to a convention, I do a little game called, well, who do I recognize first? And if I know who they are, their handle, I'll tag them as, hey, you're the person that won Druidsfire's game of who did I recognize first? Well, this year I hadn't even had a chance to post that on Blue Sky before I ran into Cypher of Tyr. A friend of my sister, who later during the weekend confirmed that I am now allowed to refer to her as friend as well. So my friend Cypher. I ran into her again late after supper, and she just wanted to go hang out outside. The weather in Indy was surprisingly really nice, because there was a nasty storm that blew through the night before. And so it was actually really cool. There was a very nice breeze going, and the temperatures were oh so nice. So not the usual Gen Con of 90 degrees and 90% humidity sometimes. So yeah, we were just sitting out front, and various people would stop by, say hi to her, and whatever. And I'd get introduced. I don't even remember half the people. I don't remember any of these people except two, because I was already familiar with them. First, somebody was passing by, a scarecrow-looking dude with long dark hair and glasses, and he stopped by, and he chatted with Cypher and got, they took care of some stuff. And then Cypher very kindly introduced us, and he's like, you look familiar. I'm like, yeah, dude, I've seen you like a million times at Dragon Con. He's like, yeah, that's what I remember. It was Mark Meir, yeah, Commander Shepard, and many other things. And probably less than 10 minutes later, probably a lot less than that, same thing happened, only this time it was Felicia Day. And so I got introduced, and we had a deja vu moment, because it's like, you look really familiar. I'm like, yeah. That's because I've seen you a billion times at Dragon Con. And they're like, yeah. But then also, in fairness, they were both aware of my sister, my favorite sister, my only sister, in her role at Asmodee and with Catan. So after that, I went to the hotel restaurant. Paid way too much for fish and chips. Very, very tasty on both accounts, and I will probably do. I think that may be if I keep getting to stay at the J Dub every year, I'm probably gonna make that my Wednesday night, my Wednesday night thing at GenCon is just get fish and chips at the J Dub. Okay, so Thursday was my first full work day. We did training, in the event hall, in the exhibit hall, in the event hall, because the Indiana Convention Center has like a section up here, and then it's got a section like over here, right? And they're two long sections, and they kind of like they're like a sandwich, only the sandwich is like this, and there's like a hallway connecting them, whatever. So we were in the part. We were in the part down here. So I was assigned to the Catan team to demo. We originally thought we were going to be demoing the full game of Catan. No, we were asked to demo Catan on the Road, which had just come out in April. It's basically Catan, but in a card game format for 3 to 4 players. It takes about 15 minutes a game. I'm already starting my pitter patter. And honestly, it was stupidly simple for me to pick up. I'll shamefully note that I have never really played Settlers of Catan. And it is pronounced Catan, by the way, not Catan. A lot of people say Catan, but it's actually Catan. What's really funny is we got ribbons to attach to the bottom of our badges. They'd had them for several years, and my sister forgot to order a new one, so they ran out. But there's a badge ribbon that says it's pronounced and spells out the word Catan. And so that's the joke. It's like, it's pronounced... How's it pronounced? It's pronounced Catan. And the reason it's pronounced Catan is because Klaus Tuber, the gentleman who created Catan, is German, and they don't have an eh sound in German, apparently, so it's Catan. Alright, so yeah, the game was stupid simple to do, or to learn, and as time passed, I got the game down to a patter. I figured out the best way to explain the various cards, and, how to explain them, and set, the whole 9 yards. I also got permission to take a little bit of a longer lunch on Thursday, ahead of time, because Cordovan from Standing Stone was like, hey, you want to have lunch? And I'm like, sure. And that actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because he got some very bad news that first thing that morning. For those who remember his streams for Locho and DDO, and he had a kitty cat, a ragdoll kitty cat, who would jump up and, she would meow and demand attention, and sometimes jump up in front of the camera. Miss Elizabeth Bennett, Lizzie. Unfortunately, she was a very old kitty, and she did pass away the night after he came to GenCon. Poor soul. But it was peaceful in her sleep. And it was kind of expected news. I got to see her back in March on my way home from PAX East, and I really did have the feeling when I was there holding her that was going to be the last time I was going to see her, and that proved to be true. So that made me glad that I had a little extra time to spend with Jerry, just so I could be there for him and just let him have a moment to chill. It also was better that way. It wouldn't be like our first meeting at their player meetup where he would, because he knew I loved that cat. She was awesome. And it gave him a little bit of an opportunity to have I just see this person who, is a big fan of my kitty cat. I actually made his Lizzie Twitch emote that I used to spam every time she came up on camera. Good old Floof. So yeah, we had a good lunch. We talked about some other stuff as well, and some of his plans for the weekend other than work. I believe he and Draculetta went to the record store, one of the record stores in Indy, and shot an episode of their podcast about vinyl records. So go check that out, the Record Players Podcast on YouTube. But yeah, after lunch, we actually went to a place that's under the walkway across from the convention center on Maryland. I think it's the walkway that goes into the Westin. But anywho, I'm going to show you the first photo that I snapped. I actually stole this from one of my colleagues at the company. the merchant. I saw a lot of the merchant guild Discord because somebody made that. So here we go. Here's our next photo. The first thing that I saw. Why is this not working? Come on, you. Work. There we go. First thing that I saw. One of the first things we had the large one ring display that you'll see in later photos, and there was this dude cosplaying Tom Bombadil. And you notice he's got a blue feather in his cap and his bright yellow boots. He understood the assignment. And it was actually really funny. So, yeah, that guy was really good. We also had a 4-foot tall Eye of Sauron or Barad-dûr dice tower with the dice the size of apples. Look at the... Well, okay, that's the one ring display. Durr. And through it you can see the fake stained glass display behind it for a game that I actually will be showing you the box for here in a little bit. Alright. Yep, there's our 4-foot tall. It's 4 feet tall. Like the Eye of Sauron was like up to here on me. And it's a dice tower. It's a wooden dice tower, and the 3 dice down there at the bottom, those things are about the size of apples. Like in hand. And beyond it, you can kind of see him hidden, but I might have another picture. Yep, there is a smaller than life-size Bilbo Baggins. That is the Rankin and Bass version of Bilbo, not the version from the Hobbit video game from 2003, nor is it the Bilbo from the Ralph Bakshi film. Somebody said, oh, it's the Ralph Bakshi Bilbo, and I'm like, the fuck you been smoking? You might want to let go of that pipe. Give it back to Bilbo. We also had some gorgeous gaming tables over there, inlaid with some high-quality Middle-earth maps and wooden armrests that were carved with the ring quote. Let me take a look at those. Look at these things. These are really nice. So I think it's just a Tolkien-inspired gaming table. There was this one that didn't have anything on the frame that people would lean on or whatever, or lean over to go into the deep part of the thing. But yeah, it had the ring quote. I'm assuming it's the ring quote because everything's the one ring, and I would imagine that this would not be so in depth and so much of a deep cut that I would have to get Chad Bornholt from Texas, to help me translate the Tangwar here. I'm fairly confident it's the one ring quote, as evidenced by the fact that it's in English here on the corners. And the corners had these really cool things where one side is the one ring and the other side, had to tilt this photo around, is presumably Barad-dûr. So that's kind of cool. Those are really nice. If I could afford a gaming table, first of all, I'd have to find a place for it, but in my house. But y'all know. Alright, very, very cool. So one thing that happened on, this was on Thursday. I saw somebody passing by the Catan booth that I was pretty sure I knew who they were. And it looked like Busy Beth, a streamer who also frequents my community and in my Discord. And I was sure it was her, but she was far enough away that I couldn't call out to her. There was enough people in the way and that it would have... And I was working. I was actually at my table working. So it would have been inappropriate to just yell across the hallway, "Hey, Busy Beth!" So it's Busy Beth. At least I thought it was, but I just couldn't yell across the way to talk to her. Thursday evening, though, after the show floor closed, or the exhibit hall closed, I went over to the Indiana Repertory Theater, a long block away from the convention center. And they have a smaller stage, like on the 3rd or 4th floor, called the Janet Allen stage. And it's like a small space with there's like a small space, like in the middle, like a U-shaped audience, like audience here, aisles, and then audience here. So it was like a U shape of audience, and in the middle was the small space with this big black wooden stage that was in 2 tiers, and there was like a gaming table on there, and they had a couple of cameras, and in the backdrop they had it looked like a hallway leading up to some creepy stairs and some typical fantasy D&D sort of shit behind it. And this was for a special performance of Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill. This version was different than the usual ones. This one was called Defeat the Audience. Because of the space and how intimate everything was, there wasn't like a stage that you climb up necessarily. Like in a normal theater, there's like rows and rows and rows and rows of people, and then all of a sudden you have to like go way off to the side and then up some stairs to the stage. This is just climb right up on the stage. Nobody cares. And so that you don't actually do that. I think it was actually probably a theater in the round stage. Possibly, question mark. I'm not entirely sure, because they had like a backstage was off to the side on one side, so I'm thinking maybe it was a theater round. They just closed off the 4th wall, the back wall, with this backdrop that they set up. It was really cool. In this particular version of the show, and I'll explain a little bit later what Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill actually is, for those who don't know. But this particular show was called Defeat the Audience, and they gave everybody raffle tickets, like giveaway tickets, with numbers on them, and the host, Bill Rehor, would call like 4 people out, called 4 numbers out, and had us go to a special like staging area. And then the one premise of the show that you do need to be aware of: everybody on the show dies. That's the point. Nobody survives Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill, except maybe one. I'll explain here in a little bit. So before we got to the actual production, I saw something really, really cool. Okay, there's the 2 towers trick-taking game using like a faux stained glass sort of display that looked really cool. And Circle of Conflict, I'm not familiar with that Lord of the Rings game. But this what I was seeing on the way to the theater was these 2 guys blocked off or taped off a little bit of the street, the sidewalk, because the street behind them is Illinois Avenue, and like right past them, right behind them, the street was blocked off. Not even like to through traffic, just blocked off because of construction. And so there wasn't really any traffic on there. So they just taped that off, as you can see. And they were just playing this game. They were just, you can see they were rolling giant dice and just playing a game on the street. Yep. Just a few pieces and the dice, and they're all good to go. All right. So, I actually have a little bit of a script here. So, afterwards, I didn't actually take any pictures of Faster Purple Worm tonight. I did not. I'll talk to you about Busy Beth in a minute. So this particular Faster Purple Worm show, Defeat the Audience, the premise was that there was a cleric named something Tolek, Keeper of the Faith, and we would have to at the first time it's like Keeper of the Faith, and he kept saying it, so the audience it became one of the memes of the entire show. And we'd all say Keeper of the Faith all the time. He was casting a spell to close a portal threatening the city of Avernus, and we were basically meat shields, right? We were prepared to sacrifice our lives to keep him alive. He was played by Matthew Lillard. Yes, Shaggy from the Scooby-Doo movies. And I was particularly, the reason I wanted to go to this show, besides the fact that it was different than the usual show, is because one of the cast members, one of the celebrity players, was my acquaintance Bonnie Gordon. Bonnie is somebody for whom I have slung merchandise for at previous comedy music events like Fump Fest, the Funny Music Project convention that happens in Chicago every once in a while. She's one half of the Library Bards and is a denizen of the Magic Castle in SoCal. But she's probably most famous for being the voice of the Protostar computer, USS Protostar, Yeah, she's a Starship voice on Star Trek Prodigy. Yeah, Star Trek Prodigy, for real, canon. I hadn't seen her since before COVID, and so it's kind of great to see her again. I was asked to play Charlie. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the character's name. I might. I hope. I may have forgotten. I think I did forget. I have a character sheet from that show because I got to go up on stage and play Charlie, a Dragonborn. Charlie spelled Charley, and I forget her surname, but she was a Dragonborn paladin whom a hag had prophesied would die saving the city. So, me and my 3 fellow audience members in that round faced up against a pack of joke demons during our turn. Unfortunately, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the precipitate science joke, got a few laughs and a couple of groans from the audience. Poor Charlie died as expected. Later on the way out, another audience member said she liked my joke, and a few others went, science! So, for me, that was a lot of great fun. And already, for me, that was on track for being the best GenCon ever. And this kept going the next day, because I was looking forward to the Standing Stone Games meetup. However, before that, I wound up meeting 2 friends. I was indeed correct that I had seen Busy Beth the previous day. And this time I got pictures. So I was actually heading out to lunch down the main hallway, the main crossroad, in the convention center, connecting like the part up here and the part down here. And I saw her off to the side, and I don't know, I was looking at her. I stopped, and I got a little closer, and I was trying to eyeball her badge. Now, by default, GenCon puts your real name on your badge. However, you can go to the GM headquarters and ask them to print you out a new badge with your chosen name on it. And she had done that. I did not do this, because I didn't know that was a thing. So I saw her in the hallway, saw her stream name. I introduced myself. She kind of like did a little thing, like, just a little step back. She was like, who are you? Why are you saying my name? I don't think she recognized me without, whatever. I don't think she recognized me because I wasn't wearing a Druidsfire thing. I also had my tiara on, which I should probably start wearing my tiara for stream, except I can't do that when I'm wearing a headphones. I'll have to figure something out. But yeah, it was kind of funny when she had the startle look for a moment, and she was a little wary, and I introduced myself and said, hey, I'm Druidsfire. And then there were hugs and laughs, and we had a good long chat. And I was on my lunch break, so I was on a timer. I was on my normal lunch break, which is an hour. So I was like, I gotta get going. I'm so sorry. And she had to go off and do things too. Then as I was about to leave, I saw somebody coming down, we were off to the side, and looking over to my right, basically to this direction in the photo, where I'm facing, sort of. I saw a familiar face, not a friend, but a familiar face to those in D&D circles, coming our way, just chatting with somebody, is whatever. And because he was something of a big deal in D&D, in the D&D world, I didn't want to stop him or bug him. I just gave him a salute like this. And he diverted his course and came over to us and gave me just a big old freaking hug. And I said, thanks for your work. I play your games. I also play DDO. And he went on his merry way. And that's how I got to spend the rest of the weekend saying, I got hugged by Ed Greenwood. So after I insisted that Beth come to the Standing Stone meetup later as my +1, because she hadn't gotten in on the RSVP, and I knew that the Standing Stone people wouldn't give a flying fuck, I went on my own merry way, passing by the busking corner, where my dear friend Mark Gunn of the Brobdingnagian Bards was performing. I I gave him some hugs after his song was done, and we did some gentle trolling of the fact that his partner in crime of the Bards, Andrew McKee, was not present at the time, but whom I'd already run across a couple times in the weekend, and then I went to lunch. After lunch, I went back to work, showing people how to play Catan on the road. And then another familiar face wandered past, or was about to wander past. He was looking around, looking like a bit like a deer lost in the woods. This time, even though he was across the aisle about as far away as Beth was the first time I saw her, this time I was sure it was actually him because he's quite distinctive. And so this time, since there wasn't like 5 billion people between him and me, and nobody seemed to be caring, I go and call out Gingy. And I'll be honest, I kind of was because I knew he'd be there. We were actually we're trying to arrange a meetup at some point to hang out and actually take photos and selfies and shit. And I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping my first greeting to him would have been, "Why, hello there, Sheriff Barton," because he role plays on a Red Dead Redemption RP server called Wanted RP as a character named Sheriff Jack Burton. He has used that name across many RP servers, and when he created the character, he had no idea about the Kurt Russell character in the movie Big Trouble in Little China. And now it's funny as hell. However, at the time, I was kind of more worried that he'd just keep on walking and we'd miss the opportunity to say hi. So we had pictures taken, we had a good chat, and then he went off to play Magic and Pathfinder, I presume. And then fast forward to Friday evening. Let's see. Where's my photo of Gingy? There's my photo of Gingy. Look at him. The funny fact is, I recently found out that Gingy and I actually live in the same town. I live in a different suburb of this town, and he lives in a different suburb. But we are both familiar with a particular supermarket that's closer to his bar town than mine. And then it's really good that it's far enough away that I think it's a pain in the ass to go up there. Otherwise, my bank account would cry. Because I would love shopping up there. So that's Gingy. So I'll be linking his Twitch channel below here. While I'm recording this video, I actually have his stream up on my upper monitor because I was watching it, watching his first stream back after GenCon while I'm recording this. So I have him muted, but I can look up and see the action and see his chat and whatever. Okay. And I'm going to have to go back and watch this VOD to see what he said at the beginning of his stream earlier. 'Cause I was doing chores when that happened. Anyhow, that was really, really cool. So Friday night, let me see what my next photo is. Oh, me goofing off with the One Ring. And more Tom Bombadil doing photo ops at the Ring Arch. Oh, we're going to talk about that on Saturday. So I have photos of the Standing Stone meetup Friday night. They will be in the Lotro side of things. I actually don't have any DDO photos, but I do have something cool in DDO to show you about. Yeah, I'm going to show you something cool from DDO. But anyhow, Friday night was the player meetup. It was in the same place as last year. At least the same venue, the Punch Bowl Social, but we were in a different section of their area. And I will have 2 separate videos detailing what happened in terms of each game. So they will be linked in the comments below once I get them recorded. Yes, they're not recorded. I am a liar. They will be linked. By the time you watch this video, they will be linked. All right. So for this, I'm not going to go over a lot of the game news beyond Lotro announced their next expansion. And DDO announced a few cool things, one of which is coming to the game later this year, and another thing that came into the game today, and I will show up what that thing actually is in the DDO video, so definitely go check that out if you see it. All right, so who was there? I'm going to basically go over who was there, what the vibe was for the meetup, and how it all went down. The Standing Stone folks that were there were Severlin, the executive producer, Cordovan, the community manager, Tolero, the DDO producer, and Steel Star. I don't know what his official title is with a DDO, but he's a DDO dude. He's currently working on the raid loot, I think. Well, not the raid, the second when I'm recording, because it's 9 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. He better not be working. Okay, on the player side, we had 2 Lotro-specific content creators. That was Bloodborne, who is another streamer who lives in my general greater metropolitan area, and Busy Beth. She did make it. And 2 DDO content creators, Voodoo Spice and Tavern Tales. Voodoo Spice went to his first GenCon. Surprisingly, Voodoo had never been to a GenCon before. What the hell, Voodoo? What's wrong with you, boy? And Tavern Tales was there as well. And me and Draculetta, we are the equal opportunity offenders of content creators because we create content for both games, and we were also there. Blood did record the Lotro stuff. He had a really swanky camera for it. And Drac recorded the DDO stuff. The vibe, the sound was not as loud as I was expecting because Punch Bowl Social is a bar with a bowling alley in it. And we were right beside the bowling area, but it was closed. That part was closed because of the private events, which is very nice. So go check Bloodborne's channel for his Lotro video. He did more of an analysis of that and the MMORPG video that came out, or article that came out. And Drac just basically said, "Here's my recording. Have fun." And I appreciate the fact that Punch Bowl turned down the audio. Normally they play really loud music, but while we were doing our thing, they turned that shit down. So Seb didn't have to yell over everybody, but he was talking loud. I hope he saved his voice. He talked about the DDO updates first, then he did the Lotro stuff, and he was running slides off his laptop, and I could tell that it was his gaming laptop because I'll show you. Actually, we're gonna go into those photos. Actually, we won't because I don't have. They're gonna be in those videos. But basically, you could tell it was his gaming laptop because the WASD keys. Were all worn off and the RGB lighting was shining through the keys. I was like, yep, this is what he actually plays. And I happened to notice that he had certain games on his taskbar. I'm like, yeah, you still play that game. I didn't know you played that game, but that makes sense. But, that's why. But he was using a second monitor to hold up his slides for everybody to see, so his laptop was safe off in the corner until Larry was running his slides for him. 3 Lotro Discord mods were present. Hermie, the Doctor, and Kitiana. Cordovan had to make me a temporary Lotro Discord mod. That way he wouldn't have to turn off slow mode on the main Lotro chat channel because everybody had been spamming the fuck out of that all day long. Unfortunately, it does appear that details of the expansion had leaked. So people were spamming emotes related and memes related to it all day long. I myself brought a laptop with me, and the venue had Wi-Fi, so I was able to log in and type out all the details in Discord and on Blue Sky. And there was a bit of free swag for both games available, things like tote bags for Lotro, hoodies for DDO, some t-shirts for Lotro, a Lotro fidget spinner. Like, I have one here that I got last year. It's just basically a standing stone pen, and it's got a little fidget spinner on the end. And I hide it in my pencil or in my glasses case because otherwise Stormlost would have that thing throughout the entire house all day long. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of free swag. I didn't actually go get any because I get all the swag. I already have all the swag that I want for either game. However, Cordovan did remember to bring the cards that he had forgotten at PAX East. Where are those cards? Here they are. They're hiding. I can be very careful I don't accidentally show the back of these cards. But I got a pile of cards for Lotro and a pile of cards for DDO. And these cards have codes on the back worth 750 points for the respective game. So 750 Lotro points on the Lotro cards and 750 DDO points on the DDO cards. And I will be giving those away on my Twitch channel, on my live streams. Until they're gone, they're gone. So if you're watching in the next few, maybe the month of August, maybe September 2026, I will be doing those giveaways on twitch.tv/Druidsfire. Otherwise, no, I won't have any more. But yeah, I didn't actually go for any swag, so it's like I already had everything. So and there were people there, like my friend Ardent Esoteric from my community. She was there I'd met her for the first time, and she and her husband, and so she'd never gotten any Standing Stone swag except what she won from me in a giveaway from previous years. So it's like now she can get her own damn swag. So I mentioned Bloodborne was there. And I honestly thought I'd met him before. Actually, no. I honestly had not thought. I thought I had never met him before. It's like, dude, we live in the same greater metropolitan area. We've never met. Like within 20 miles of each other. And he said that on the down low. So I'm not going to do all the details. But on the down low, he said that we had met a number of years ago. And what he described is like, okay, that makes sense. We probably did. I didn't remember, but we probably did. But I'm not going to say more than that because he did want to keep it on the down low for reasons. And I'm just going to honor that request. So it's nothing. It's just mundane. It's mundane stuff, but you still keep it to yourself. All right. So there was also a ticketed giveaway of other swag at the event, like not like posters and framed key art from a couple of the expansions for a couple of the games. I again already had them all, so I didn't need them. And yeah, so I just didn't bother. And I was also, honestly, I was too busy live posting the news to Discord and my Blue Sky account and answering questions from both areas, or at least mostly from Discord. I would like to note that the food at the Punch Bowl was actually pretty good this time around. We had some sliders, some burger sliders, some boneless wings, some veggie options as well, tater tots. They gave us like a drink token. I never even used mine. They gave me free Coke. They didn't care. The one thing I was a little about was the staff. The wait staff took my plate away before I was done eating because I'd stepped away from my seat too long while I was chatting with everybody else and taking care of business. In all, it was a great time with some really good people, and getting the news was a lot of fun. Although I do agree with a lot of other folks that it's a bit odd that they announced a Lotro expansion at GenCon. I would have been more expecting a Lotro update at GenCon, not an expansion announcement. So that was a little bit strange, but overall the thing was fun. And then after that, on Saturday, that was also a big day for me. For me, it was a lot of work at the Catan booth, but I was also looking forward to the Faster Purple Worm Kill show that evening. However, bad weather almost put the kibosh on the whole damn thing. There were a couple of really loud rolls of thunder through the convention center. And yeah, it was like, whoa. That was loud. The lights didn't flicker or anything where I was, but it kind of gave us a little bit of pause. Like, ooh. And then all of a sudden, everybody's phones started going off. And then we knew some shit was about to go down because that was an emergency alert. Indicating severe weather, in this case a tornado warning. And so they quickly recorded a message for everybody to remain calm, get away from the windows and outside walls, basically take shelter, and security staff will be around to assist, blah blah blah. Where I was demoing at the Catan booth, I heard it was the rain on the rooftop. However, as far as I know, there weren't any injuries. But they had to close the block party outside for obvious reasons, and a couple of the ceilings in the convention center were not as watertight as one would hope. Since the vast majority of us inside were in no real danger, people were already planning on, we were already joking around as planning on ribbons, t-shirts, things to riff on the fact we survived the tornado of GenCon 2026. However, not to downplay things too much, there was some flooding around the convention center, including, rather ironically, the tornado shelter flooded. A major pipe nearby had rotted through and burst with the pressure of so much storm water, and water come rising out of the grates and toilets in the nearby restrooms. Lovely brown water. The majority of the vendors inside the conference center or convention center were safe, though the food trucks outside any of their setups had to be sorted out. I mean, the worst damage obviously was outside, with high winds and whatnot. But a lot of us Midwesterners were like, yeah, whatever. And that's because inside the city, the concrete canyons, as it were, with all these tall buildings, they kind of make it hard for tornado funnels to stay intact. So even if there was circulation, it wouldn't have done much of anything. So thankfully, we're in the middle of downtown Indianapolis. And so, yeah, it was basically the whole event. The worst of it was about an hour long, maybe. It was toward the end of the day, so it was like 15 minutes after it was like 5:30, 5:40 when they canceled the alert till 6. It was supposed to be like a tornado warning until 6 o'clock, and they canceled at like 5:30 something. So we already got back on track pretty quick. And so we continued on our way. So the Faster Purple Worm show was going to be on later that evening. And as I was, getting things cleaned up after my shift was over at the Catan booth, I noticed the Faster Purple Worm people racing, fast walking past with their arms burdened with, the straps of a whole pile of goodie bags. And I recognized one of the people, like I saw Bill Rehor going past, and then I saw Rob Ciccolini, the Standing Stone executive producer, going past, and I'm like, what? Did your brother have you schlepping for him now? And he laughed. He said he was helping him haul these goodie bags over to the event hall, from the event hall over to the main stage area, so the crew could hand them out to the VIPs. Rob did say that if it was up to him, he'd give me 10 of those bags. Now let me explain what Faster Purple Worm Kill is. It's a D&D stage show, right? Where you've got 4 players. Generally, in most of the versions, it's down a table. It's like down along a table, and at the end of one end of the table, just like you can see the table up in here, you can see the DM screen and whatnot, and then there's the podium for the show host. And the show, it's a live stage performance of a D&D game whose premise is that all 4 players are playing level 1 characters who are going to die before the end of the show. In fact, if the show, it looks like it's going to be, it's like a 2-hour show, and if it looks like the show is going to be running late, then what they do is the DM basically wipes the floor with everybody. Just, pull something out of his ass or whatever. In this particular show that I watched, it was Cthulhu. Oh, of course it's Cthulhu. Now, the fun about this is like, well, why would you play a D&D show where you're going to die? Well, first of all, these aren't your regular campaign characters. You don't really care about them. They are meant to be red shirts, basically. And that's really where the fun is coming from, is like, how do they get to where they are? Or how amazing can you make their deaths, right? How bad are your dice rolls? The show, Faster Purple Worm Kill, is run by Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse, a company that describes itself as having been summoned up by the 5 founders, including Matthew Lillard of Scream and Scooby-Doo fame, as a midlife crisis. And why Rob Ciccolini was schlepping for them is because one of the 5 founders, who also coincidentally is their normal stage DM, is John Ciccolini's brother. So, Rob himself actually guest DM'd one of their episodes about a haunted house in season 1. You can pretty much find that almost anywhere on the internet or on a nice Roku TV like the one I have up here. I can actually watch him on the big screen here in my house for free. So for me, this show was like I've been wanting to watch a real, proper Faster Purple Worm Kill show live for the very first time for so long, and my timing happened to be excellent for choosing this particular production. They also did one Friday night that I missed. I bought tickets to both because when the event schedule went up to buy and I knew they would sell out within 24 hours, I didn't yet know whether they were going to do Friday or Saturday for the Standing Stone meetup, and Cordo had previously told me it would be Saturday, so I was like, oh, I'll just get the Friday show. But it's a good thing. I'm like, because like 2 days later, he then told they announced that it was going to be on Friday. I'm like, fuck. So I wound up hedging my bets and buying both tickets. What I should have done is buy the VIP tickets for both nights, because that way I could have gotten a goodie bag. I didn't do it. And then just refunded the one once I knew what date Standing Stone was doing their ship. And then somebody else would have had a seat. Okay. So one of the things I knew about this particular these two episodes these two sessions was that Standing Stone, in the form of Dungeons & Dragons Online, was sponsoring this thing, and I hadn't yet seen them talk about it that much. I mean, they had mentioned it, but they didn't really promote it in DDO socials or anything like that. But for me, I was actually really stoked to see some proof of that. Now, one of the other reasons why my timing was excellent on this particular Saturday night show is some of us were given party hats and noisemakers and told to wait for a signal later in the evening. Now, while I was watching, as you can see here, you can see the Terror of Demogorgon slide. It was actually, they were playing the trailer in and amongst all their other slides before the show, and host Bill Rehor announced them. He was announcing the sponsors, and he mentioned the other two companies that were sponsoring it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Didn't DDO do this? And then he announced their elite sponsor, Dungeons & Dragons Online. And I let out a woo really loudly and totally pissed off the guy sitting next to me because he did not appreciate my volume. So fuck that guy. But yeah, I absolutely pissed that guy off because I was the only one who went woo. And I made sure I was loud enough to be heard in the entire ballroom when Bill said that. The show itself was just as awesome as I was expecting. The cast was hilarious as fuck. And, of course, Matthew Lillard was one of the cast. And, yeah, I was just laughing so much the entire time. However, the party favors that were handed, I was given a noisemaker, woo, one of those. I didn't get a party hat. Also pissing off the guy next to me and the one in front of me this time. So fuck those guys. But the reason the party favors were given out was because upon the signal, a big slide came up saying, "Congratulations!" And it was because it was the 100th sacrifice in the history of Faster Purple Worm Kill. So that's cool. Now, one thing about their show, I will want to give you a content heads-up warning. Not all of their content is family-friendly. Some people have a little bit of dirty minds. And, I mean, it wasn't like, oh, okay, there was some sexual stuff, but not really. It's more innuendo than anything, like, explicit or properly adult. You might have to explain a few things to your younger kids, but like preteens will get it, and they're like, haha, everybody's 12, right? Everybody's 12. So yeah, I had a great time, and next year I am definitely getting the VIP ticket. The goodie bags I didn't have much because the guy on the other side of the kit, the one who's sitting next to me, it was his dad. And they were both VIPs, and they were showing me what was in the goodie bag. It was just some coupons for some things, a couple of freebies. But the one was a really nice iridescent medallion or a challenge coin that was in the bag. It was actually very, very pretty. And then, yeah, that was the Faster Purple Worm show. And then afterwards, I was dying for food because I didn't get any food between closing up on the show floor and getting to the show itself to the ballroom. So I noticed that the walking taco thing under the escalators right nearby was still open and happily serving everybody walking tacos. Now, here's the thing. I thought the walking tacos would be like a chip bag, like yay high. You know, one of those $1, not those really, really tiny fun-sized potato chip bags, but the next higher slide that may be like yay wide and maybe this tall. No. That thing was like yay long, this deep, and wide. I mean, obviously it's a chip bag, so you know if you empty it out, it folds up flat. But that thing was like a banana boat worth of. It's like, and I guess they were wanting to get rid of the food before they closed up that night, and so on top of my, I chose Fritos, and the beef taco. There was enough food in that bag, in that chip bag, that I couldn't finish it when I got done with my taco at the end of the evening. I was like, I'm done with this. I put the rest in the fridge and had most of the rest of it for breakfast. I couldn't finish it. It was that much food. It was like the size of 3 of those little chip bags. And yeah. So what was really cool is after the show, when I was getting my walking taco, I ran into Steel Star from the DDO team, and we had a good little natter. They were going over to the JW for another show, and I was going to the JW to vegetate and rest in my hotel room. And so we had a good talk, and so I got a little bit of extra details out of him that I will be putting in the DDO video. So go watch the DDO video if you want to hear what he said. I already posted it in the Discord, but I'm going to put it in the video as well. So, yeah, those things. Originally, I had scoffed at the walking tacos. We all had walking tacos, and it was like, holy fuck, these things are ginormous. I originally thought they were small, and like $16 for this shit? No. But for the size of the walking taco, I'm like, they could have charged more, and I would have been like, okay, you know what? This is a fair price. Because that's one thing about food at GenCon. Nothing is a fair price for food unless you bring it yourself. And sometimes not even that, depending on how shitty your store is. But yeah. The food at GenCon is basically bring it yourself. Or they've got various stalls throughout the convention center where you can buy things like a slice of pizza. Like a slice of pizza was like this big. It was not huge. For $12. They had a 3 Supreme taco. Like, their idea of Supreme tacos was not my idea of Supreme tacos. It was just like the meat, the cheese, some chopped tomatoes, and some lettuce, and some sour cream, and 3 tacos. And that was $18. And a regular soda was $6. They had a plastic commemorative cup that they would sell for $22, and then you get free, like not free, but $2 refills the entire weekend. I did not get one of those because we were required to have non-spillable containers on the show floor this year for real this time. Unlike the one I just drank from. So I spent most of my time drinking out of this thing. This Asmodee jug that I got, that I got last year, and it served me very, very, very well. In that, I put ice in it and a little water in the morning, and I had cold water all fucking day. It was great. That being said, let's end our little party here. About me talking about what I did, and then I'm going to show you the swag. So on Sunday, I made my very first purchase of something other than food all weekend long. I'd been very, very good. But I wanted to show some love to the Beetle and Grimm kids, so I bought one of their t-shirts, which I'm going to open. I'm going to open right now. This is an unbagging video. So this is the Beetle and Grimm t-shirt. On the front it says "Everybody dies," and on the back it has their logo. Faster, purple worm! Kill! Kill! Let's see, what other photos do I have here? Hey, there's me on Sunday at the Asmodee booth with the first time I had my hair down, because all weekend long, as I saw in that, and you saw in the earlier pictures, I was wearing my tiara, my digital facilitator tiara. So that was fun. But on Sunday I dressed up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. On Sunday, I just wore, pants. And had my hair down for a little bit. And then got to wear these for the first time all weekend. I should have worn these all weekend long, but I was a dum-dum and did not. So there we go. What other pictures do I have? The lightsaber doggo! So yeah, there was a lady who had this doggo, and I appreciate the fact that she put shoes on his paws, because that way he wouldn't injure, they wouldn't injure their paws by walking all over the concrete all weekend long and on, carpet and whatnot. Was trained to just carry this lit lightsaber around all weekend in their mouth like a stick. And it was funny. And they were photographed frequently by our team. And yeah, there we go. I survived the GenCon. Is that the last one? Nope, that is the last one. I survived the GenCon Tornado 2026. So that's it. Just about it. So yeah, let me tell you the last cool story. After. So on Sunday, I as I mentioned, I bought the Pastor Purpleworm shirt, and Bill Rehor was at the booth, and we were chatting with him, and I admitted my loud outburst the night before. I spotted a display. Let me see if I can find it. It's in my bag here. That's not it. I spotted a display of those challenge coins that they had in the goodie bags, and they had a display. They're obviously selling these things, right? I don't even know how much they're worth. I never even saw the sign for their price. I just asked him how much they were, and he just said, "Here, have one." Okay. With a smile, he said I could just have one, because I was just gonna buy one from the dude, and I just bought their t-shirt, was willing to whip out the credit card a second time. And I'm gonna show you what this thing looks like. Yeah, it comes in a little velvet case that has the Faster Purple Worm logo in silver on there. This should be a purple case, honestly, but that's fine. And it opens up and looks like this. Let me pull this out here real quick. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is... Yeah, so... On this side, it has Faster Purple Worm, Kill Kill, GenCon 2026. And on the other side, I can't read what it says. I think it's Beetles and Grimm's, something, something, something. Where are my glasses? Let me read them with my other glasses, the ones I actually had on my person most of the weekend. These are my granny glasses. Yeah, it says Faster Purple and Kill Kill GenCon 2026 on one side. The other side says Beetle and Grimm's. Veni Vidi Devotatus something. But it looks like this. Let me get this closer to y'all. That's the one side, and here's the other side. It's very shiny. And it's made out of metal. So it's really nice, honestly. Well, honestly, when I look at the image on the obverse size, it looks like a cornucopia. Or maybe it's something about that looks like a cornucopia that's about to murder you. So that's one of the things I got from Gen Con. I think this was the nicest thing because I wasn't expecting to get it. I was expecting to actually pay for it, and I was willing to pay for it. But Bill Rehort very generously just said I could have it. So thank you, Bill. You should follow him on Blue Sky as crasherplane.bsky.social, I think is his thing. And you can also follow Faster Purple Worm and also Beetle and Grim on Blue Sky as well. Go find them. You can find them. I'm just putting this back in the bag. Other things I wound up getting this weekend. I'm just going to use glasses on while I read stuff. I got this little unicorn. And this is like, I don't know, some kind of polished stone. But this little unicorn. Look at this little unicorn. He's so cute. Alright, so there's that. I think we were demoing this. This is a mini version of Donut. Oh, it's really funny. The box itself is actually green. Oh, you can't see it, but the box is actually green, which is why you're seeing the green screen behind it. I actually did get to keep the copy of Catan on the Road that I was demoing. That was very nice of them. Ron from the Catan studio said I could have it. But I said, Ron is good people. I like working for his company. Oh, this is the Catan chapstick I got last year at Gen Con. It fell out of my pencil case. I also have 1 or 2 Catan shirts. Hold on. I think I might only have 1 Catan shirt. I thought I had bought 2. I'm pretty sure I bought 2. I got this. They gave us little backpacks for stuff. So I got this little blue Minecraft duck for my little baggie. And this came from Voodoo Spice. I got a Voodoo pin. Look at that. You know, I got a Voodoo Spice pin. That's pretty cool. I also got a Voodoo Spice sticker in here somewhere too. Yeah, a Voodoo Spice sticker. What else is in here? Somebody just gave me this random 3D fidget thing. It's like you get a putz with. It's like whatever. It's just like something if you want to just fidget with things. Okay. So that came from, other than the Voodoo Spice stuff and the fidget spinner, that all came from my Merchant Guild homies in my bag. Oh, here's my thing, my character sheet. So Charlie had a last name, and her last name was Longbrow. Longbrow. I didn't remember that. I knew it felt like Longbow, and I knew that wasn't right. And so her backstory was, as a child, a hag foretold she would die defending the city. Are you filled with dread or relieved? And so here, let me show you the actual character sheet they gave me. Yeah, it's hard to tell because, you know, whatevs. And the autographs on here, which is really funny. The autographs are, like, very hard to read. But I got autographs from John Ciccolini, Matthew Lillard, Bill Rehor, Bonnie Gordon. And I honestly do not remember the names of the other players besides Matthew Lillard. And I apologize. So my character had a glaive with 10-foot reach and 5 to hit. The hit is 5 to hit, and damage was 10d10 plus 3. Slashing, 2-handed graze were the notes. Had a gold breath weapon for 15 feet. The hit DC is 11 dex, and damage is 2d6. And notes is fire, half of damage on success. You can only do 1 per short rest, and the character has an unarmed strike of reach of 5 feet, and has a hit DC of 5 and does 4 damage, bludgeoning damage. and just has some random, skills and stats and whatever. And started with 11 hit points. One of the fun things at one point, I said something, whatever to or about Matthew Lillard, and he proclaimed me his favorite of the time and gave me like an extra 10 hit points. Not that it availed me in the slightest. And Faster Purple Worm, Everybody Dies Volume 2. This was the adventure we were playing today. And so I'm going to give you the QR code for that. Here, have that. Have a QR code. It's probably safe. It's probably safe. That was the keeper that we ran into. And so, yeah, this is the back of the card. And this was on the seat at the show. What else do we have? What else do I have in this bag of magical goodies and wonders and stuff? So, I'm making a mess on my desk. I have not announced that yet. So, I got a tote bag. Oh! Here's the thing. Wow, it sounded way loud. I probably just startled the cats. But they gave me that during the show. I have a pile of pins and things. I have 2 robbers that my sister gave me. One is like a I don't know, like a resin. It's got glitter in it. So it's got craft harpies in it. It's like a light blue. It's just a robber piece from Catan. And this one is made out of something, some mineral that looks very much like marble, but it is definitely not marble. Where did that one just go? I just set it down, and I think it fell off the table. I also have a red Catan robber. Have a Catan button. There's a lot of people who stopped by the booth and was like, "Are you guys doing the pin trading again this year?" And we had to be the bearer of bad news and say, "No, they're not doing the pin trading. I found the blue one." Sis did tell a lot of people that it was coming, that something new was coming soon. That is not a GenCon thing. I don't know where I got this from. Anomia. And I got a Flip 7 enamel pin. It's actually yellow on the pin, but it's green enough that the green screen is having fun with it. It's very sparkly. It's very sparkly. Looks like it's got sequins on it or something. And so that's all the stuff. Actually, this tote bag, the OP Games, had a bunch of stuff in it. Oh, hi, Stormlust. And it was on my bed in the JW in the hotel room one morning. Like, when I came back from everything. It's like, oh, okay. I didn't ask for this. I hope I don't have to pay for it. But no, it was just like a gift. I guess because I was on the Merchant Guild setup, is that they's like, okay, you're staying here, you're getting these free goodies. I'm like, okay, I'll take free goodies. Oh, Scamper's meowing again. So let me move this out of the way. I'm trying to put all this stuff away safely out of the way, because I have a whole other bag of shit to show you. This is definitely my favorite. The Faster Purple Worm. It's a challenge. It's totally a challenge coin. All right, we'll set that there. Get this. Put those in there. Okay, so this pile here is. Some of us are better at manipulation and magic. This came from the Faster Purple Worm people. I'm pretty sure it did. That goes in there. I got a Catan luggage tag, which is really, really cool. Sis gave me that. Oh, here's a copy of Flip 7. This Flip 7 was in my goodie bag at the end of the show. As is a card for OP Wait a minute. No, this was in the OP Games bag, because this is one of their games. So OP Games left this card on my bed in the bag, and this is one of the games that I was given, Flip 7. I need to find friends to play games with. And also Telestrations was another game that was in that bag. So I just repurposed the bag. It's just like a canvas tote bag. It didn't have much in it, so I just used it to store a bunch of my other crap. So one of the other things that I got was probably one of my favorite Catan shirts. I don't know where the other one is. Is it really not in here? Or was it on the floor? Anyhow, Catan started selling a shirt that says Summon the 7. It's basically a kitty cat on the Catan board. Look at that. Isn't that cute? That's so cute. Thought that was here. But they have another Catan shirt. I'm pretty sure I have one. And it's basically a cat sitting on your Catan board, and it's cat on. Or cat on. That was really funny. Otherwise, in my goodie bag, oh my god, there's so much shit in here. I gotta be careful with these boxes or I'll break my TV. Oh, I was supposed to give those away. Well, I will give those away. Cozy sticker bill. Oh, you can't see them because green. I got another deck of mini done up. Let's bring this out. This one's ginormous. Let's get all the crap out of the bottom, I guess. How did I wind up with so many of those? Weird. Okay, I think the bag is empty. So this was my goodie bag. It was like a baggie this big, that they gave us games at the end. And one of these is Map Masters. You can either play co-op or versus. Kind of cool. Okay, I do not want to risk anything sliding off and hitting the TV, because the TV is worth more than any of this shit is. Okay, the other bigger game, Marvel Champions. The card game. Battle as your favorite heroes in this cooperative card game for 1 to 4 players. So that's kind of cool. Alright. And you know that stained glass game I was showing, the stained glass window? Well, here's the box that it comes in, and obviously it does not like the green screen in the slightest. It is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers trick-taking game. The art on it is amazing. And it's like, here's the rules and the summary and the whole 9 yards. Not gonna mess with that too much. I also have some Catan hotel keychains. We were giving those away like candy. And this is the other side. This is the card that I showed the picture of earlier. This is the card they gave out to everybody as well. Has the Faster Purple Worm Volume 2 ad on the back. And it's just basically showing how elite the DDO moniker was for that show, Faster Purple Worm. I also got a Penny Arcade. Look at this little cute. Look at this cute doggo. Look at this cute doggo. Got this pin. This cute doggo from Penny Arcade. Well, Penny Arcade made it, but apparently there's an ad on the back for Stickerville, so I guess that's why we had them. More Catan hotel keychains. A Star Wars Unlimited hand token for their Ashes of the Empire thing. And it just looks like a Sabak card. Sabak card. Look at that. It's hard to see. See if I can get it even closer. It's like, why don't you go into big head mode? This is big head mode. I just adjusted a little bit. So yeah, it's just basically somebody holding up a hand of Sabak cards. I guess Sabak, or maybe just cards. I don't know. And then I got a blind bag from Exploding Kittens. That was another game we were demoing. Can I open this? Is it? Oh, it's resealable. Oh, I don't know what's in here. What's in here? Okay. I got a thing for Exploding Kittens and the pin. Oh, look at this! Look at this! It's a kitty. Look at that! Look at that! It's Rage Mode Iridescent Roar! That's awesome. I love that. Okay. So there's only one more thing to show you that I got. I was for sure that I got the Cat On shirt as well. Maybe I forgot to pack it or I put it in the wrong place. But this was a gift from my sister from a couple of years ago that she was said that she was that I could pick any Catan game other than 3D and she'd give me a copy. And now I have a copy of Catan Starfares. Look how big this damn box is. Look at this. It's really cool because you get to roll the dice in the spaceship. There's like spaceship and crystals and all kinds of fun stuff. And it looks like this. This is what the game actually... Oops, sorry. What the game actually looks like. It's basically Catan in space. And so, yeah, I had to haul all this shit home after the convention. Alright, let's get this all packed up. Actually, let's not pack it up. I'm just going to close this video because I still have a couple more videos to make. One will be about the DDO side of the player meetup and all the goodies that came with that. And the other will be all the Lotro stuff. But that one, the Lotro one, is there's an article about the two new systems and a little bit more about the expansion that came out on mmorpg.com the day after the player meetup. And we will talk about those systems based on what was in the article, I guess, and see what else is going on. And yeah, those two videos will be linked in the description below, and you can go watch them at your leisure. You'll also get them in my feed if you're subscribed to my channel. Please like this video. I've been talking for hours, and I have 2 more videos to make. I don't want to watch people stream. But I want to tell everybody all about my GenCon with the loot that came back with. And yeah. So you know the drill. Everybody be good. If you can't be good at it. And I will see you later. Alright? Alright. Bye now. Scamper says bye-bye. She goes meow bye-bye. And yes, I survived the GenCon Tornado 2026. I don't think there was actually a tornado. We're gonna meme and riff the shit out of it next year. It's like, oh, you were here for GenCon where they had the tornado, were you? No. So, all kinds of fun. Oh, hi, Scamper Cat. Here, it's a scamper. I have a scamper. And now you can all go bye-bye. I gotta pet the cat. Alright, bye!